Welcome back to the Manc Entrepreneur YouTube channel, and in this episode I'm going to be showing you my top 5 myths that you're going to get told as an entrepreneur. Now before we get started, a quick shout out that this is episode number 100 of the Manc Entrepreneur series, and I think it's episode or video number 158 that I've uploaded to YouTube, because obviously we have the Mondays Don't Suck, we've had some interviews and some other random bits and pieces which don't form part of this Manc Entrepreneur series. So as it's like the 100th episode of the Manc Entrepreneur series, I thought doing this top 5 episode would be a bit of fun for you, but also let's have a little chat about these are probably some of the most annoying things that people are going to tell you or that you're going to hear as an entrepreneur. So to kick things off with number 1, it's okay for you because you run your own business, you can do what you want when you want. Yes, of course I can. That sounds like some sort of heavenly dream that I can do whatever I want when I want because I run my own business. The reality is that if you're an entrepreneur running your own business, you're probably more restricted than most when it comes to being able to do necessarily what you want when you want in those types of terms. Like, people who don't run their own business, who aren't entrepreneurs, who are employees or whatever, I would say get more downtime and therefore can get to do more things that they want at a time which suits them. The reality is that it takes a lot of work to be an entrepreneur, and a lot of people get to look in and go, oh, it's fine, you can do what you want, you run an online business. The reality is that out of all the entrepreneurs I know, the vast majority of them spend the vast majority of their time working on their business. The reason for that is because that's what they enjoy doing, and that's the reason why they are doing what they are doing. With that said, if I wanted to go and take a 3-week trip to the Philippines, I could do that, I guess, again leading this sort of laptop lifestyle that, you know, is one of the luxuries of running an online business. Yeah, I could, but ultimately whilst I was there I'd be working, and that, whether I wanted to or not, for most it would be a necessity to at least keep an eye on work whilst I was there. So whilst I can do what I have that freedom of movement and blah blah blah, if I wanted to take 2 weeks off, no computer, no working, no nothing at all productive, I can't do that, whereas employees can do that. So that's a distinct difference there. As an entrepreneur, you can't do what you want when you want, but the likelihood is that you are already doing what you want whilst you are working. Myth number 2. That is that it's okay for you, you're loaded because you run your own business. And again, for the vast majority of people, this is just not true. And certainly for me, I am not loaded by a long way. I have concerns about finances just like everybody else does. I have bills to pay and all the rest of it. And the interesting thing is that people have this conception, because you run your own business, you must automatically be earning more money. That is just not necessarily the case. Whilst I will say that whilst running the online business that I do now, after nearly 5 years, yes, I'm earning more money doing this than I have ever done previously in employment, and also that does give me a lifestyle improvement, as in I don't have to commute anywhere. It's very much on my terms. I don't have to ask to go to the bathroom or when I go on my dinner or anything like that. I'm very fluid. And if something pops up on a Tuesday, I can go and do that on a Tuesday, and I can work my hours back on a Saturday or a Sunday when most people would be taking time off. So there's a balance, I would say. It depends how you define loaded. If it's cash loaded, yes, some entrepreneurs are, and I would say that nearly all entrepreneurs, that is the end goal. It's the financial freedom. However, as an entrepreneur, that doesn't happen overnight. You don't just quit your job, start a business, and people start giving you loads of money. It takes a long time. I think I've mentioned this previously. When myself and Matt first started the main business that we run now, we didn't take any money out of that business for 18 months. So that was, that was a hard period where we were working incredible hours but taking zero finances from the business. I know so many entrepreneurs who are definitely not loaded, and I dare say now I could probably earn more money if I went, knowing what I know now and having done what I've done, I probably could earn more money in employment in the short term, but in the long term, yes, I probably will make a lot more money running my own business, and that's why we do it. We play the long game. We don't think short term as entrepreneurs. But for people to turn around and say, oh, you must be loaded, it isn't true. And I guess it defines on people's different expectations of what loaded is. I'm certainly not there yet in my mind by a long way. And on to number 3, which is, oh, you're an entrepreneur, you must be a risk taker. Now, whilst, again, there's an element of truth in that to a degree, that you have to take a risk in order to start a business and go self-employed and go down that route, that is true. However, on that same understanding, every time you get on a bus or cross a road or leave the house or get on a plane or whatever it might, there is an element of risk there. There's risk in everyday life, and sure, the risk taken in starting a business and going self-employed is one thing, but ultimately you can start to be an entrepreneur now by really hedging your bets, and it's the method which I would totally 100% recommend to as many people as possible, and that is to start your entrepreneur journey whilst in employment. Nothing is going to kill a business quicker than having no finances and no income or no safety net there. So, like, my top advice for anyone would be to start building your business whilst in employment. Utilize your evenings and weekends, and yes, that means no life in it for a period of time, but if you genuinely want to do it, then you will genuinely take those sacrifices. And once you start building a little bit of income and start progressing things, then you can make the full-time switch, and it'll be much, much easier. But ultimately, I don't know of many people who, I mean, it's a calculated risk, is what I would say. You don't have to be like a adrenaline junkie, skydiving, shark diving lunatic. You can literally just hedge your bets as best you can, build up a safety nest, a war chest of finances to tide you over for a period of time, and then go after your business dream. Or you can start building it slowly, utilizing your spare time while still in employment, and that negates an awful lot of the risk that you take. So yes, I mean, there's always a risk that, if I quit my job and it fails, we'll have to get another job. Yes, you'll have to get another job, but if you got a job in the first place, then you already know you can get a job. So again, we're not as crazy risk takers as people like to brand us as, and ultimately, if you feel that is a reason why you can't be an entrepreneur, don't let it hold you back. You can definitely control elements of the risk to a degree. Number 4 is, how much investment did you take? I love this one, because we're in this society right now, this investment society, where as soon as you're going to start a startup or an app or whatever it may be, the preconception in everybody's mind is that you need to take investment, and in order to be taken seriously, you need to have taken investment. Otherwise, you're just playing at it and you're not a real business person. My answer to that would be that actually I respect more the people who start a business without taking investment, because it means that they believe in it a lot more. They're willing to risk their own, if they don't have money, they're going to risk their own time building this thing, whatever it is that they're doing. They don't come up with an idea and then go up to rich people with the begging bowl and say, give me some money to see if this works. No. So whilst absolutely mentioned this before, some businesses 100% need investment in order to get off the ground. Some businesses don't. And the ones that don't should not take investment, because like I said, you're basically giving away the baby. You're giving away part of the baby, which could potentially earn you an awful lot of money. So whilst I was offered investment a few times with the business, we always turned it down because we knew time was what it would take in our instance. And other than paying ourselves a wage and going down some traditional marketing routes, when we were quite happy doing the guerrilla marketing, being the disruptors in our own little way, it wasn't worth it. So again, the myth that you need investment as an entrepreneur is a myth. You don't need it, and if you don't need it, you shouldn't take it. And number 5 is, oh, it's okay for you because you've got a team of people. Whilst that may be the case as an entrepreneur, if you're a few months, years into whatever it is that you're building, chances are you have built a team, because that is the one thing which is going to scale you quicker than anything else. It's man hours, and there's only so many man hours you can give, and ultimately, and when you can start buying time from other people, that little hockey stick growth just goes crazy. However, you are still needed as the starter, as the founder, as the director, as potentially the CEO as you grow. You are needed in order to, you're the captain of the ship. So whilst people think that, I'm very fortunate, I have a team of I think 6 people, and if I don't turn up in a day, the business carries on as it should. That's the reason why we have that team in place. However, nothing progresses. New things don't happen. Sure, new blog posts and new little bits and pieces might go out, but ultimately the progression of the business at the highest level, the business development side of things, stops, and that is what you cannot replace. Your job as the entrepreneur is to keep things fresh, keep developing, keep moving forward, and ultimately that's the piece which cannot be replaced. As an entrepreneur, that's your best asset, is that if you're going to start something, you also need to know how to carry it on and where the future is going. So for people to turn around and say, oh, it's okay if you've got a team of people. Yes, we do. If you're at this stage where you've built a team of people, that's great. But ultimately, that just increases the potential headache. A very good friend of mine once said, I might have 10 members of the team. That now means I've got 10 mortgages to pay every month. That is the weight on your shoulders as an entrepreneur. You're not just looking out for yourself anymore. You have a team of people who are looking to you for their security. And that is one of the greatest and also the biggest challenges. It's one of the greatest pleasures and the greatest rewards, but also one of the biggest challenges and weights on your shoulder, knowing that you need to, these people that have bought into you and given you so much of their time and energy, that you need to look after them. And if I don't turn up and do my bit, if I'm not turning up and making things happen, then things can go backwards very, very quickly. So with that said, I hope you've enjoyed these top 5 myths that I've come across as an entrepreneur over the past sort of 4 or 5 years. Let me know what you think. If you've got your own, let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear them, as they do make me laugh and sort of cry on the inside as well, in frustration more than anything. But with that said, if you have liked this video, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you are new. There's new content every single weekday. And with that said, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll catch you as always in tomorrow's video. Thank you for watching.